You gonna put me on the spot here?
Yes.
I think Vandy knocks him down.
Oh, see, you heard it here first. That is Andy Katz at ESPN.com, by the way, for all you Tennessee fans.
I'm not giving out my email on that one.
And hey, who better to kick this thing off than a country music icon? So let's get it on from Music City, USA.
Give me just one more last chance before you say we're through. I know I drive you crazy, baby. Coming up, Vanderbilt Commodores take on the #1 team in the nation.
And it is one more last regular season chance for Vandy to pick off Tennessee. It's a whiteout at Memorial Gymnasium. It's a whiteout outside. It's the hottest ticket in Vanderbilt basketball in a long time because Tennessee, their hated rival from Knoxville, for the first time in history, is the #1 team in the country after 99 seasons. And how did they get there? Take you back to FedEx Forum Saturday night, the most watched game in ESPN regular season college basketball history. Tennessee withstood an early barrage of threes from the Tigers. And then Prince and Tyler Smith went to work, and Tennessee stops a 47-game winning streak for the Tigers to take over the top spot in the nation. And now it's Vanderbilt's turn. Can they turn the tides on a #1 team? They have a pretty good record against top-ranked teams in their own gym. And now in front of a sellout house at Memorial Gymnasium, the old place in its 56th year, it is rocking tonight. You're watching Super Tuesday presented by KFC. It's part of Judgment Week presented by Jockey. And our matchup, the 14th ranked team in the land on their home floor against the #1 Volunteers of Tennessee. And we welcome you, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with Jimmy Dykes. You know, our partner Vince Gill started it off. He's topped the charts so many times we can't even remember. Tennessee's only topped the charts once, and that's been for about 40 hours, Jimmy. So the question is, Tennessee coming off the emotional high, the win over Memphis. They go from the proverbial frying pan, quite frankly, at FedEx Forum into the fire of this place because it's a tough place to play. Can they handle the, I guess, the good vibes that they've had going the last 2 days?
You know, I think they can, Brad, but it's going to be very difficult. I think Tennessee all season long, I've said they've have that it factor, and they better bring both the I and the T tonight because Vanderbilt in this building, they've been outstanding shooting the basketball lately. They've also knocked off the last 3 #1 teams that have come into this building. And if you're Tennessee, Bruce Pearl's concern tonight is how rested are his kids. Emotionally, they're fine. He's done a terrific job all season long of keeping his kids hungry, but they didn't get back to Knoxville till 3 o'clock Sunday morning. They're a little bit tired coming into this ball game. The bottom line, though, Vanderbilt and Tennessee, they don't like each other.
No, they don't. Let's take a look at our Star Watch, a guy that might be fighting the effects of that game a couple of nights ago. Tyler Smith's battling the flu. Shane Foster there in our Star Watch.
Well, and Tyler Smith, he touches every area of the basketball game for Tennessee. He leads them in free throw attempts, rebounds, and assists. And for Vanderbilt, Shane Foster making almost 4 threes a game, top 10 in the nation. In this building, though, he's capable of knocking down 7 or 8 three-point shots if Tennessee doesn't climb up into his jersey.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the visiting Volunteers from Knoxville. A great backcourt, the Smiths and Chris Lofton, who's their top scorer. Up front of our team, 4 if you count Vince Gill. Here's Janine Edwards.
Well, Brad, as you know, this game is all the talk here in Nashville. And this pretty much sums it up. Music City Showdown. Well, Vanderbilt coach Kevin Stallings told me his main concern tonight is that his guys are actually too tight, too excited facing the #1 team in the nation. So he sat them down this afternoon and he said, look, guys, I don't want to see anything that we don't see in practice. He said, keep it loose, don't get fancy. And remember, this is why you came here. Just show the country what you can do. Brad?
Shane Foster, their captain and their leader. And one of the top 3-point shooters in the country for Kevin Stallings, who's done a marvelous job in this Vanderbilt program over his 9 years. One of only 3 Vanderbilt coaches that's won over 150 games here. 167 and 112, 8 and 10 against Tennessee. But he knows what it is to beat a #1 team. Bruce Pearl doesn't know what it's like to be a #1 team unless you go back to Southern Indiana in Division II. He's never had a club #1, nor have the Volunteers ever had the #1 ranking. It's got the feel of the SEC tournament, if not the NCAA tournament. Joe Lindsey, Mike Eads, Doug Sermons, our officials. Orange coat and all for Bruce Pearl. He only wears it for Vandy and Kentucky. And on Super Tuesday, we're underway in Nashville. Tracking it down in the backcourt. Lamar Smith. About twice as many times as any other player, Wayne Chisholm's the first guy to score on the first possession for Tennessee this year. Let's see if he gets a touch.
And Tennessee starts in their 2-guard, 3 shuffle cut alignment. That is Bruce Pearl's way of controlling chaos. They use it against Memphis. They will use it in this ball game.
They move it around. Lofton got an opening, gave it up. Smith back to Lofton behind his back, and he buries a 3. What a way to start the game.
He is shot hungry right now. What I mean by that is when he touches it, his first and second thought is measuring the rim, and if you give him a crack, boom, that release is off and gone.
Last 11 games shooting 46+% from three-point range. Ogilvy blocked by Chisholm.
And Vandy has to be able to score that 6-foot radius around the rim in this ball game. That's where they have the advantage. Can they capitalize on it?
Tyler Smith turns off the glass, partially blocked, I think, by Meltner, who does a good job defensively. The look inside of the big fella, and he's fouled by Chisholm. The Chris leader in SEC history, his first attempt of the night.
He does such a great job of drifting into the passing lane off of a one bounce or off of a drive. One of the better drifters in college basketball right now into his shot is Chris Lofton. And get Tennessee and especially Wayne Chisholm in foul trouble.
Chisholm has that tendency, although you look at all the times that Tennessee has had foul trouble this year, and they've only had 2 guys foul out all year.
Again, you see the 2 guards up top for Tennessee. That is by design. Vanderbilt has not pushed them out to that spot. That is where they want to initiate their offense.
Lofton, another 3. This one off the mark, cleared off by Ogilvy.
If you're Vanderbilt, though, you're concerned because Lofton getting open looks early in this game.
Foster, he'll try one. A little too hard off the back of the iron. Shane actually has more 3s this year than Lofton does. Over 100, in fact. And it's Lofton over Foster, and he hit the side of the backboard. Everybody hits the deck. Possession arrow is going to go Vandy's way.
And Brad, I think you saw right there the difference in Chris Lofton this year under Bruce Pearl than the last couple of years. He's not making as many bad shots this year as he was the last 2, and that was a bad 4th shot in the corner.
He's got enough help that when he does hoist a bad one, everybody else picks up the slack. That's one thing they didn't have in past years. Here's Jermaine Beal, and he really takes care of the basketball, leading the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. Here's Ogilvy again against Chisholm, and Beal open for 3, and got it.
He only averages 7 points a game, Beal, and Vanderbilt needs
the turnover.
Those 4 possessions, Ogilvy has a touch of the basketball. Now this is the 5th possession, and he turns it over.
22 turnovers the first time these 2 teams met for Vandy, a 20-point loss. So they can't get in that kind of situation that they got in back in Knoxville.
Brad, Vanderbilt has only turned it over 10 times a game the last 7 or 8 ball games. They're much better of sweeping that basketball against pressure, valuing the most important thing on the floor.
There you go for 3.
In this building, Shane Foster is capable of knocking down 7, 8, or 9 threes. Tennessee has to make him dribble the basketball.
Chisholm on the low block. Goes baseline. Ogilvy blocked it. Chisholm lost it out of bounds, and now the crowd
goes into his jump shot and gets great vision of the rim.
335th three-pointer for Foster. We mentioned he and Lofton, 2 of the best that have ever played in this conference outside the arc. Jumper goes just inside the 3-point line by Alex Gordon. And boy, if Vandy starts getting help from everywhere, 7-point Commodore lead.
And Brad, important to know in this ball game, Bruce Pearl is at the other end of the floor. He's 94 feet away from his team. His team now has to play on instincts. They can't trust Bruce Pearl to make the calls from the sidelines.
Outside jumper won't go. Kept alive underneath. And back up with it is Duke Cruz, and he's fouled. Bruce Pearl way down there, and his team already in an early hole. Can they do what they did a year ago and have done 5 times in the past on this floor? so far they're off to a pretty good start. Well, a little over a year ago, the #1 team in the nation came in here. The Florida Gators riding a 17-game winning streak. Shane Foster, Vandy having a great year, 23-4, 8-4 in conference play. Still a game behind Kentucky, believe it or not. Kentucky, their overall record, not nearly as good. But the RPI strength of schedule, teams they've beaten, Jimmy, this is a team that's going to the NCAA tournament.
Well, you look at this ball game, Tennessee obviously trying to hold on to the #1 ranking. Tennessee doesn't shoot great from the free throw stripe, but they shot better than Memphis, and ultimately that's what won them the basketball game. They are tough, and they have to make free throws. They're one of those kind of teams.
Nice look inside. Metcalf scores down low on the pass from Meltner.
Where does Vanderbilt continue to go in this ball game early? Inside. Yes, they've knocked down a couple of threes, but the inside game right now is Vanderbilt's strength.
Jordan Howell in the ball game earlier than he probably anticipated playing too. I don't think Bruce Pearl liked the way his starters looked. There aren't many of them out there right now. This guy stays in. Player of the week in the SEC and showing why. Leading scorer against Memphis the other night, Tyler Smith. That's his first basket.
And if Vanderbilt can't get physical with Tyler Smith, and I mean really bump him and grab him and get away with it, he can put up big numbers because he's quicker than anyone Vanderbilt can have to cover him.
Foster, long three, got it.
#1 for Vanderbilt all time in three-point makes and attempts. Again, you cannot let Foster measure the rim, Brad. He has not had to dribble the basketball yet. Tennessee has to make him dribble that basketball.
Shooting 45% from 3, too, on top of it. He's got 103 on the year, 2 big ones tonight. It's ignited the crowd and given the Commodores an 8-point lead. Smith got it over to Howell. He's a good three-point shooter. He misses this one, though, and the rebound is Meltner's. And Vandy looking to push it.
If it's not there on the initial push,
Foster again. Got it again.
If it's not there on the initial push, Foster has to get a touch, and when Ogilvy comes back in, it's him.
In close, Tennessee misses.
As good as Tennessee is on offensive rebounding, there's been a limit.
Commercial break, and the frustration was all over the face of Coach Bruce Pearl. As you two both mentioned earlier, he said he was concerned about not being able to communicate with his team. Well, right now he's saying we are not making Vanderbilt drive the ball at all. We are allowing them wide open looks, and we're seeing 3 after 3 after 3.
He talked with the three of us at the shoot-around today and admitted that he's uncomfortable with this setup. Most coaches that come in here are. A lot of them maybe won't admit it, but most of them are. I think everybody that's watched SEC basketball knows about the configuration of Memorial Gym, the oldest facility in the SEC. Howell missed another 3. Lofton kept it alive, though, in that the benches are on the end. Lofton blocked by Ogilvy. Wasn't expecting the big Aussie to come flying at him, I don't think.
What Janine said, what Tennessee needs to do is climb up into the jerseys of the guys in white and make them do something off the bounce. Right now, they are a passing, screening, jump shooting team. That's Vanderbilt's strength.
Shane Foster just asking for it, coming around picks. Here he comes around another.
That's the 7th or 8th touch for Vanderbilt on this possession.
Nice job defensively by Tennessee to knock it away with 7 on the shot clock. There's Bruce Pearl's perspective on the. Dennis Felton made that very aware to the officials on Saturday in this gym when Georgia was in here. And that shot having to try to battle the shot clock, and Alex Jordan nowhere near the hoop, out of bounds with an air ball.
And Brad, I coached here as an assistant coach.
Well, guys, as you know, this is not just the oldest gymnasium in the SEC. It's also the most unique. It was actually modeled after concert halls in Europe by architect Edwin Keeble. And with its raised floor and low seating, it definitely has that concert hall feel to it. And for the first time in 15 years, Memorial Gym is sold out, guys. So the fans are definitely turning out in droves.
The problem for Arthur is everybody's ankles look basically the same to me. But from there up, changes, things change.
Tennessee trying to get out and pressure, Brad, more than they did early. Again, making Vanderbilt do something off the bounce. Can they do it?
Here's Gordon, pull-up jumper, got it from mid-range. It's a good shooter in there. He's got 4, and the lead swells back to 11. Remember, though, this is the kind of pressure that Tennessee faced the other night when Memphis went out in front early with the 3-pointers. But they hung in. They never go away. They're pretty persistent. They just keep coming at you. So far, it's all Vandy's game, though. Here's the 3 for Chisholm. Kept alive by Brian Williams. Turns off the glass. Trying to get a second chance. Battle for the rebound. Won by the smallest guy on the court, Alex Gordon. Great to see the next 8. Naismith and Wooden Award winner, 2-time Atlanta's first-team All-American. Of course, the great matchup with Magic Johnson.
Weighed about 135 pounds.
Yeah.
But from that point on, he had it.
He had the it factor.
He had the it factor.
As Keegan Bell played extensively in the backcourt here early for Vanderbilt. Although some of the starters here are right in front of us now, ready to come back in.
Tennessee really starting to pressure on the perimeter.
Ogilvie, I think, bumped by Williams in our twin bill tomorrow night. 20-9. Vanderbilt by 11 here in the early going on their home floor. Shane Foster's hit 3 threes already. As Jimmy said when the game started, he could go anywhere from 7 to 9 on this floor, and he's almost halfway to his 7. Nice look. Down low, the kick out, Neltner. And now Foster thought about it, and Chisholm, well, that's a cheap foul by Wayne Chisholm. He has got to watch out, and Bruce Pearl's probably going to have to watch out too. Did not like the call.
Well, what Bruce Pearl knows is this, that Tennessee has to climb into the jerseys of the guys in white, Brad, because of how well they're shooting the basketball. And that was a nickel-dime foul, a touch foul on a dribbler. If they continue to call that, he can't guard Vanderbilt in this building.
Yeah, that's penny nickel. That wasn't even nickel-dime.
No.
Here's another one, apparently.
Same thing. He's going to get teed up now.
Yeah, technical.
He'll ask for it. There it is.
I didn't do anything. So that comes with 10:50 remaining in the half. Many times technicals by coaches, Jimmy knows this having been one, orchestrated sometimes to ignite your team. I don't know if that was total frustration or if Bruce is trying to send a message to his guys in orange.
I think it's a little bit of both. I thought it was very interesting. He told me today that he actually talked to his team last week before the Memphis game about the Vanderbilt game, the importance of winning an SEC championship outright. I think emotionally they're fine for this game. I think Tennessee, if anything, they're shown to be a little leg tired early, and that could be expected for all the energy used up in Memphis.
So the free throw line will be Shane Foster. Already with 9 points and 1,850 in his career. He's moving in on the #1 spot all time. Doesn't miss often. Lead out to 12. You're going to see the official passing in front of Bruce.
Yeah, right in here. Bruce is giving him an earful. His assistants, Bruce's assistants, actually tried to step in front and shield him off, but windshield wipers didn't work well enough.
Tony Jones and those guys jumped up trying to throw a block. It didn't help. Ogilvie down low for the flush. And another great pass from Neltner. He's done that more than once tonight. A big to a big. 14-point lead. Tennessee in some trouble almost midway through the first half.
And Brad, the big to the big will work against Tennessee because they defend with a big and a medium. And that right now, Vanderbilt understands it.
Cruz is bumped by Ogilvie, who picks up his second foul. Ogilvie will have to sit down maybe for a long time. 10:30 remaining in the half. Tennessee takes a timeout. Again, some confusion. They don't have their coach to look to because he's 100 feet away, and they call a timeout. 10:30 remaining in the first half. Vanderbilt trying to upset top-ranked Tennessee. They're on their way right now. This ESPN telecast is available in high definition on ESPN HD, presented by Olivia. Let's check in with Janine.
Well, Brad, I asked A.J. Ogilvy this afternoon what it's going to be like for him as a freshman to be playing the number one team. He said, savor this moment. And he said his parents back in Australia will probably be watching this game on the internet, of all places. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Wednesday in Australia right now.
Got a lot of folks watching overseas, including Chris Lofton waits in 3, and he got it, including some of our troops in Iraq. And Pat Woolsey, who's the scoreboard and clock operator here, his son is a captain with the Apache helicopter crew. Matt Woolsey, if you're watching, your dad misses you and loves you, and we know you love Vanderbilt basketball, so we hope you're getting a pretty good view of this one.
One of the officials missed one because Manny stepped out of bounds.
And now Joe Lindsay's going to call a foul on the far side. It's on Shane Foster, his first. Alex Gordon wants to check back in.
I watched Bruce Pearl at the other end of the floor. He's a very hands-on, hectic pace, chaos kind of a coach. A lot of activity. He cannot affect this ball game right now as much as he'll be able to in the second half. Tennessee has to hang with Vanderbilt in the first half, while Bruce Pearl is really a non-factor for them offensively.
Obviously what Jimmy's alluding to is Tennessee's going the other way in the second half. They'll be down by their coach. Here's a miss inside and a rebound off to Metcalf. Here's Metcalf spinning to the baseline, and he's fouled.
The factor that Tennessee has as a team.
Shane playing in his 126th game, his 116th start. 3-time SEC Player of the Week, #2 scorer in the conference. I walked in.
Don't know if Shane Foster is going to be a pro because he's one-dimensional. He's terrific at that one dimension. He's not a great defender, and he can't beat you off the bounce, but a terrific college shooter.
Prince is blocked by Foster. Now it's Gordon, a triple. And Chris Lofton with a rebound. Back comes Tennessee. Lofton trying to do it himself against Foster, senior against senior, and they're going to call a tripping foul. Well, maybe not. I think they are, though, on Shane Foster. They will. That'll be his second, and that might take him out of the lineup. As Kevin Stallings' assistants making him aware that his star player has got 2 with 8:42 remaining in the half. Chris Lofton will step to the free throw line. 85% career free throw shooter.
Well, Brad, we've documented over the years, we have loved covering Chris Lofton. And obviously Kentucky turned him down and Louisville turned him down. Kentucky Mr. Basketball. But you know what? I don't think he was deserving of a scholarship offer to Kentucky or Louisville coming out of high school. He's 6'1". He was a one-dimensional guy, a shooter, but he has played his way and made his way into what would now be a scholarship offer from a Louisville or Kentucky or anyone else. That says a lot about Chris Lofton and what he's done in his career getting better.
You talk about cheap fouls. J.P. Prince just caught grabbing a jersey to pick up a foul, and we walked the other way. Well, you're right. Chris Lofton has made himself a basketball player, and it's been through hard work. There you see a great shot by the
Tennessee defensively. They've been a chameleon all year. They changed to the surroundings and the circumstances. Against Memphis, they sunk in. Everybody was inside the three-point line. And then tonight, they got to get back out and overplay and pressure. They are very good at changing their looks defensively, game to game, half to half.
Prince. And here's a 3 on the way. Doesn't go for Tyler Smith. Gordon. Metcalf's going to try a 3. Kept alive. Neltner throws a shoulder. Missed the shot. Might have gotten away with an offensive foul, but he didn't hit the basket. And now it's Lofton for 3. Got it. Oh, what a tough shot that was.
That's a great example of a play that he could not make coming out of high school. Anything off of the bounce, going to his left, he couldn't make it. Now he can. Hard to guard Chris Lofton for 40 minutes.
One of the great contested shooters in the country. And a whistle inside. as Tennessee has cut it down to 7.
Brad, he's the #1 SEC all-time made three maker, Chris Lofton. He'll be a factor in this game before it's said and done.
Scott Reese with a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update. All-Star center Yao Ming out for the season, including the playoffs, with a stress fracture in his left foot. This is a huge blow to a Rockets team that has won 12 straight games. And this from ABC News. The IRS wants to speak with Jose Canseco about pictures that allegedly show Roger Clemens at a park.
All right, Scott, back here at Vanderbilt. Commodores have led throughout. They've got a lead 24-17 right now. Let's take it back to the double foul before that timeout. And it involved Wayne Chisholm, who's going to have to sit the rest of the half because he's got 3. He got tangled up with Metcalf. And here's another look. He and Metcalf, the bumping going on right there. And so a double foul, and it's called a point of interruption foul. Vandy had the ball, so they get the ball back with 23 seconds on the shot clock.
Great job of the officials understanding the personality and the excitement that surrounds when Tennessee plays Vanderbilt. Preventive officiating to not let things escalate. I love the call.
Now they better remember about the shot clock, though. Gordon going to have to put it up at the buzzer, and the rebound snatched out of there by Tyler Smith.
Yeah, Tennessee's been getting 17 offensive rebounds a game over the last 6 or 7 ball games. They only have 4 in this game. Tennessee, can they climb on the glass and get some point production as well?
Well, they climbed on Memphis the other night, 50-34, the advantage on the boards. Lofton scored the last 8 straight points for Tennessee, but not 2 more there.
And it's gang rebounding by Vanderbilt. That's why Tennessee only has 4.
6:48 remaining here at Memorial Gymnasium in Asheville, as the Commodores have led this one since Tennessee had the opening 3 of the ball game by Chris Lofton. Vanderbilt has taken over and led by as many as 14.
Brad, Kevin Stallings obviously used to coaching in this building.
Jimmy, they haven't had a field goal in 4 minutes. They've got a much different looking lineup again in there, including McClellan. And here's a foul on Ogilvy. And that's 3 on Ogilvy. So the big guys are done for the half. Ogilvy knows it. He's coming out. Chisholm's already on the Tennessee bench.
Well, watch Ogilvy right here. Get those arms wrapped back behind, and then starts backing up, dislodging the defender that had already established legal guarding position, and Ogilvy now has to sit. That's a huge foul because of all the offense that runs through his soft paws.
So each postman on the bench and will be the rest of the way in the 6 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the half.
Tennessee back to their controlling chaos offense, slowing the game down just like they did against Memphis, initiating their offense 15 or less.
Prince drives all the way under the hoop. Not a good pass, knocked out of bounds, but last touch by Vanderbilt. So Tennessee will have 8 seconds on the shot clock. Chris Lofton looking on. #1 scoring man probably would be Prince on the floor right now, or Juwan Smith. Juwan Smith's got it. He's going to have to put one up from way out. Got it! Woo! They don't come much deeper than that one.
They might do that better than anyone in the country because of multiple weapons and multiple guys that have the green light to jump up and just stick it on you.
And all of a sudden, the 14-point lead is down to 4.
And you see Juwan Smith just measuring the rim, knowing the whole time with that little rhythm dribble to get his feet set. The 2 bounces got him set up. 1, 2, boom, up and in. Probably the best pro prospect from a guard standpoint that's on the floor tonight, Juwan Smith.
Well, that was a pro 3 plus about 5 more feet. Alex Gordon now senior guard at the free throw line. Alex has got 6, pushes the lead back to 6. Now Jamie Graham giving a lot of problems for Jordan Howell.
A football player now playing basketball for Vanderbilt, 22 in white. That is a disruptive defender. That's why he's on the floor.
Prince all the way. Rebounds loose. Out of bounds to Tennessee. Tennessee, the top ranking in the country after 2,324 games. Took them only 99 years. And this is the first meeting with both teams ranked on this floor in 40 years. Jimmy was in short pants in those days, if he was wearing pants.
Well, the pressure, very impressive from Vanderbilt.
Looks like there's going to be a foul on Beal. That'll be Jermaine's first. 5-3 all time against #1 teams here. 6-13 overall in the history of Vanderbilt basketball against top-ranked teams. Most of those wins over #1 teams came against Kentucky. North Carolina was in the mix, and we showed you
In the fact that this is an off year for the SEC. What's hurting the SEC is Kentucky and Florida aren't the flag waivers this year. But you look at Tennessee right now, and there's Vanderbilt's wins over #1s over the years. And 5 of those 6 have been in this building. But you look at the SEC right now, certainly Tennessee can get to the Sweet 16. Vanderbilt can get to the Sweet 16. Mississippi State can get to the Sweet 16, just like last year. And Tennessee's a threat to get to that Final Four. It's too early to call right now that the SEC's having a down year.
Gordon goes down hard. An offensive foul. Well, he tried to use his body to the best of his 6-foot ability. Here's another look at it, coming right at you. Nice job to hold his ground by Ryan Childress. So now Kentucky can cut it to 2 or 3 if they hit one. Oh, and Prince wasn't watching, and Cruz threw it. This is what you call get ready, the ball might be coming. Oh, right in the kisser. I got to think J.P. Prince is going to be eating through a straw when the game's over.
Well, Brad, when you go off that shuffle cut, which Prince went off of, you have to come off of it expecting the basketball. That was not Duke Cruz's fault. That was J.P. Prince not being ready for the catch.
What that is too much practice when you don't think you're going to get the ball and you just go through the motions.
Yeah.
And another big collision, and this time it's going to be a blocking foul on Childress.
Tennessee was so good Saturday night of deleting the drive of Memphis, and Vanderbilt does not drive the ball with.
And there's a couple of bricks from McClellan. So that gives it back to Tennessee, and the score doesn't change. And now a foul on the rebound. That goes on Walker. So we walk the other way. And it's going to be Tyler Smith at the free throw line. 6'7" sophomore out of Pulaski, Tennessee. Last year in the Big Ten at Iowa. Granted a waiver because his father, who has since passed away, was ill. So he was able to come back to his home state and play for the Volunteers. And boy, what an addition he has been.
Off the flu, and Bruce Pearl told me that it started after their game Saturday night in Memphis. And Tyler told me he's not feeling 100%. Now, he did not shoot last night. He took it very easy today. He said he's been getting fluids and medications. And, guys, they need this guy to be 100% tonight. He's their leading scorer.
He was against Memphis as well with 16. Missed his second free throw, but Chris Lofton kept it alive. And now Jawan Smith says, I'm feeling it from way out here. Didn't feel it quite so good, but it's a 3-point game with 4:15 left. Vandy's last field goal now 6.5 minutes ago.
And Tennessee has really started chasing Foster. They gamble on him right now. He had an open look and turned it down.
I don't know why he turned it down. They need him to shoot. There it goes, and there it goes.
Partner with Ogilvy on the bench. Shane Foster is going to be the first and second option.
Tyler Smith blocked from behind. Got it back and scored inside. Did a nice job of staying with it in the lane. Got his own miss on the block. Now here comes Jermaine Beal, and he's run over by Tyler Smith. The action picking up. Shane Foster, I believe my partner said he could. Scott, we'll see you guys in 3.5 minutes. Judgment Week, presented by Jockey, continues tomorrow night. Jayhawks take on the Cyclones in game 1, and then in the ACC, Georgia Tech loss. He had 7 points at halftime and 14 for the game. He's already got 13 and 4 for 5 outside the arc after hitting only 1 triple in that first meeting.
Well, Brad, I just listened in on Vanderbilt's huddle, and Coach Stallings is putting emphasis on Chris Lofton and Juwan Smith.
Now, when they get assigned to Shane Foster, those two guys are 6'2". Shane Foster 6'7". They've done a pretty good job of climbing into his jersey, but he can still elevate over the top of them at times. And Vanderbilt's screening game, their motion screening game, is really good this first half.
Tyler Smith trying to get it to Juwan Smith. Those two, again, the defense of Jamie Graham. He's like one of those flies when you're out in a boat fishing and it won't go away.
On a hot day when you're sweating. Yeah.
Tyler Smith, nice drive to the hole, and the fly got the rebound.
Tennessee cannot offensive rebound the basketball like they have the last 6 ball games. The big bodies of Vanderbilt are really clogging up that 6-foot radius on a miss.
Neltner will try triple. And that time, all orange jerseys under the hoop.
Don't forget about Lofton. He's always just an open look away from firing on you.
He almost fired it there. He will take one. And in and out. Tracked down by Metcalf in the corner. 2.5 minutes till halftime. Vandy maintains a 6-point lead.
Who's going to score for Vanderbilt is my question.
I was going to say Neltner almost took another shot over here on the wing. He gave it up.
This is the time for Vanderbilt to massage that clock. Shorten the length of this second half without your primary scorers on it.
Metcalf hook shot won't go. Rebound. Off to Juwan Smith. Ahead to Ramar Smith. And here's Tyler Smith. Smith, and a missed shot. But Williams, luckily there's somebody out there that isn't named Smith, gets a rebound.
You see him turning to look at Bruce Pearl all the way at the other end of the floor. So Pearl has made a play call. Can Tennessee score off of the play call?
Not that one anyway. Gordon brings it down in a hurry. Another hook shot by Metcalf off the glass. Lofton waits, pull up 3.
Got it. It's pure. Just like the free throws he made against Memphis to finish off the game. Nothing but net. He has a pure stroke going in this building right now.
How about waiting for the traffic to pass before you hit the crosswalk on that shot, huh? Well, Lofton's got 4 threes. Shane Foster's got 4 threes. Timeout, 1:14 till halftime, and it's a 3-point game. How ironic is that?
Tennessee always looks different when Chris Lofton is on the floor. He's like eye candy for the defense. You always know where he is. Sometimes you overextend and fly out at him. That time out of control. Lofton was patient. He let the traffic pass. The policeman said, go ahead, it's open. Boom, and he stuck it on him.
The 2 top scoring teams in the SEC, the 2 top 3-point shooting teams in the SEC, and the 2 best individual 3-point shooters in the SEC are here tonight, and they're both playing like it right now. 1:14 till halftime. Vandy had a 14-point lead with 10:46 to go in the half, but they have outscored Vanderbilt 19-6 since, and it's 31-28 with 1:14 left in the half. Here's part of the whiteouts. Not everybody wearing white, and there's some dashes of orange in here from the folks that made the trip from Knoxville up by 40. Vanderbilt's only got 1 field goal in the last 9 minutes, basically. But they still have the lead, and they want to have it going to the locker room, you can bet. They don't want to give Tennessee the momentum going to the break. We're under a minute. Foster on the drive. The kick out to Gordon. He'll try a 3. Loose ball. Who's going to get it? Tennessee gets a rebound and a timeout, and then a pile up. Whoa. Nobody leaves the bench. Get back. Duke Cruz was the one that was going to run out there, and Bruce Pearl is going to sit him in timeout right now. That's what you don't want to do. That was some physical play by 3 or 4 guys going for the ball, but you don't want to start a skirmish with 46 seconds left in the half. Here's another look at it.
Brad, this is the same type of high-volume action that we saw between Memphis and Tennessee on Saturday night. Just as bitter of a rivalry is Vanderbilt against Tennessee. You think this game doesn't mean something? Look at this right here.
Juwan Smith and Neltner, who came flying over the top trying to steal the ball with the timeout call. The officials got in there in a hurry. No further damage done. This one goes back a long ways. It's 173rd meeting between these two teams. And as Jimmy said in the open, quite frankly, they don't like each other. Never have, probably never will.
You know what? In this state, Tennessee is viewed as the public school. Sometimes it's viewed as we have the tougher kids, that we have to work harder than you type kids, and Vanderbilt is viewed as the kids that have more, higher IQ and softer. Kevin Stallings has done a great job of eliminating that thinking from his basketball team. He has made Vanderbilt just as tough as Tennessee is, especially on this home floor.
And now the Bluebirds will probably be out the rest of the game. Tennessee a chance to cut the lead to 1 or tie it if Lofton gets his hands on it. Off the front of the iron, though. Kept alive. They can take the last shot if they choose. Down 3, and we're under 30 seconds.
I think if you're Tennessee, you take the last shot. You haven't been good offensive rebounding, but you're so good over the last 6 ball games. If you're Vanderbilt, you better keep the orange jerseys off the glass right now when this last shot gets up.
Lofton picked up his dribble and has to call a timeout. Chris Lofton got the handoff from Jordan Howell and had nowhere to go and call a timeout with 12 seconds. And now Tennessee can set up a play for their last shot if they so choose, because the shot clock is not involved. 12 seconds left in the half.
And Brad, that's a big timeout now that Tennessee had to burn. They'll go into the second half with 2. You see the yellow marks above the school name. And if you're going to burn a timeout with 12 seconds to go in the first half, you better come out of that timeout and get a high percentage shot and make sure that timeout pays off with some points.
Tennessee athletic history. You take a look at #1 in polls, and of course Pat Summitt's had her team there so many times. They're in triple digits. Football 17. Men's basketball, let's see, what time is it? It's about 8 hours ago, something like that. Yep. So now we're down to the final 12 seconds, and the inbound play will come from Jawan Smith.
I think this is a really big play. Tennessee burned a timeout to get points on the board before they have. Who executes the best coming out of that timeout?
They'd love to get it to Chris Lofton. I don't know if they can. Time winding down. Tyler Smith. Kick out Jordan Howell. Now it's Lofton.
The guy
at the buzzer. And he missed it.
And chalk one up to Vanderbilt. Tennessee had to burn a timeout with 12 seconds to go in the half, and they could not make it pay. Vanderbilt won that timeout.
Vandy only had 1 field goal in the last 9.5 minutes, but they've got the halftime lead, and that's what they wanted. The lead going to the locker room at the break, and they've got it, 31-28. Joe Lindsay talking with Kevin Stallings as Kevin is headed toward Janine and toward the locker room. But at halftime, Vandy on their home floor trying to win their 24th game of the year, and they've got a 3-point advantage. Let's check in with Janine.
Coach, you're just speaking with the officials there. What are your concerns right now?
Oh, we need to play better. That's my concern. We didn't play very well the last 10 minutes of that half, and so the officials got a hard job tonight. It's a very physical game, and so both teams are playing hard. The officials are doing fine.
Well, emotions are high, as we've seen with the skirmishes, and you told me today that your main concern was your guys being too tight, too excited for this game. What are you seeing from them right now along those lines?
Oh, I think our team's done fine. We're trying hard and playing physical, and that's what we have to do in order to win this game. We're going to have to do that in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Halftime lead is Vanderbilt's 31-28. 20 more minutes. Can they pick off the #1 team in the country? We'll find out. Right now, though, time for the UPS halftime report. Scott and Andy are standing by in the studio, guys.
All right, Brad, sometimes it's good to be king, sometimes not so much. Tennessee down 3 at the break. Just ahead on the UPS halftime report, we will...
UPS halftime report.
We have chippiness in Nashville as in-state rivals who quite honestly don't like each other very much, but it's made for entertaining basketball. Vandy by 3 over newly #1 Tennessee at the break. Shane Foster with a torrid start, 4 triples in the first half. Vandy by 3 over the Vols. Second half is next.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by MasterCard. There's some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Foster long through. Foster again. Got it again. From way out. Got it.
Give me just one more last chance before you say we're through.
We're not through yet, Vince. Vince Gill, part of our crew tonight. Super Tuesday presented by KFC. And it is all part of Judgment Week presented by Jockey. Vanderbilt trying to jockey for position and trying to pick off the #1 team in the country. They lead at halftime. They led the majority of the first half. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler, Jimmy Dykes, Janine will join us in a second. A story of three-point shooters. Shane Foster early, Chris Lofton late.
They both have produced, haven't they? And think about this now. Tennessee only down 3, and they only shot 23% from the floor in the first half. Shane Foster's ability to get separation in this ball game, measure the rim. Vanderbilt was off to a hot start. But Chris Lofton, you're talking about the top three-point shooters of all time in SEC play. Lofton had an answer for Shane Foster's three-point shooting. He's only 6'1", but he can also separate and get good, clean looks. Chris Lofton has kept Tennessee in this ball game.
So with all the threes, it's a three-point game as we check in with Janine.
Well, Brad, just as you and Jimmy were talking about, Tennessee coach Bruce Pearl's very concerned with Shane Foster basically having his run of the court here. Said we have to do a better job of making him fight for two-point shots and not giving him all these threes. He was also very frustrated that his team was not finishing better around the basket, and he said 2 points were hard to come by. We need to do a better job. We just got to score.
2-pointers were hard for Tennessee to come by. They had 3 two-point shots in the first half. The rest pretty much was Chris Lofton outside the arc.
And Brad, the last 3 minutes of the first half, Tennessee got on the offensive glass. They ended up with 10 offensive rebounds in the first half. Tennessee doesn't press as much on the road. They didn't press in Memphis on Saturday.
Oh, almost a steal, and Lofton did steal it.
There it is.
And a slam by Tyler Smith.
Now think about it. Tennessee did not show their full court press in the first half. They wait till the second half so Vanderbilt can't make adjustments. That might be your adjustment. If you press Vanderbilt in this building and you can break the pressure, Shane Foster can get open looks.
Shane Foster's got 5 threes. Lofton will try to answer, and does. And now we got a shootout going between two of the best that have ever played in this conference. 5 three-pointers each. 34-33 Vanderbilt.
Bruce Pearl puts his press on and takes it off with his gut feel. And he waited for the second half of this ball game, knowing that Vanderbilt couldn't talk about it at the half.
Lofton goes for a 2, and now an old-fashioned 3 might come his way. Tennessee leads for the first time since it was 3-0 at the beginning of the ball game.
And now you have fouled a 96% free throw shooter in conference play. Again, Chris Lofton coming out of high school, Brad, he could catch and make shots. Now he can make plays like this, driving hard with his right, driving hard with his left, taking contact and still finishing.
Lofton the old-fashioned way, and he's got 6 points in the opening minute and 7 seconds of the second half.
Boy, and the press is hot right now for Tennessee. They can go hot, they can go lukewarm, they can go cold. Right now it is hot.
Tennessee by 2. Their only other lead was 3-0 on the opening shot of the ball game. Fade away. Nice shot. Jermaine Beal. And we are tied, Jimmy Joe Dykes, for the first time tonight.
And it may not be the last, partner.
Whistle. Foul is going to be on Neltner. And he's got 2 quick fouls here in the opening moments of the second half.
Half of Tennessee's attempts in the first half were from the three-point line. When Tennessee starts pressing, they also start driving the basketball with a lot of aggressiveness.
Here's Cruz. Got his own miss. Gets in deeper. Had it swatted away from behind by McClellan. Nice job by Darshawn McClellan. Vandy. Inside they go for the lead.
And that's 2 times in a row now that Vanderbilt has handled the initial hot pressure of Tennessee and gotten a great look on the back end.
Boy, a high, weird bounce. The fans wanted a turnover and didn't get it.
Lofton only 6'1" on Shane Foster. If Foster gets a little bit of room, he'll get that shot off.
Here's Gordon. A little too strong, and that's going to be on McClellan. Came in too aggressively trying to get the rebound, and he picks up the foul. 38-38, not quite 2.5 minutes into the second half. And remember now, Bruce Pearl's got his team on his end of the court. And there you see it. And a technical foul on the coaching staff of Vanderbilt. So each coach has picked up a tee.
I'm telling you again, Tennessee and Vanderbilt, they just don't like each other. So you're going to see a lot of emotion in this ball game, and it has to be controlled emotion now for both head coaches that have already picked up a technical foul.
Lofton 4 for 4 from the stripe. And that is his 2,000th career points. Chris Lofton, 2,000 career points. Sixth player in school history to do it. Congratulations, Chris, the #1 3-point shooter in SEC history, and now he's got 2 large.
If you want to pat on yourself as a college athlete, just buy into what Chris Lofton did. He stepped on that Knoxville campus, and every day he went with a purpose and a passion to make himself better. That's how you get 2 large in the scoring chart.
First guy since Allen Houston 15 years ago to do it. And here on the baseline, flying in is Ramar Smith with his first basket.
Partner, isn't it something how Tennessee's full court pressure really gets them going with an urgency towards the rim?
Their defense makes their offense click.
It always does.
Now they've matched their biggest advantage of 3 points with a long ways to go. 3 minutes into the half. Shane Foster asking for it. Chris Lofton is on him. 162, 167. He gives it up to McClellan. 10 on the shot clock. Foster sizes up Lofton. Drives in off the glass and one. Doesn't get the 3-point play. And now Tennessee trying to push it, but it's knocked away by Jermaine Beal. So it remains Tennessee by 1.
And Brad, now we're back to more of a normal coaching situation. Tennessee's offense is going right towards Bruce Pearl. He can call any play he wants in the second half, and the same way going back for Vanderbilt to Kevin Stallings. The game will have more of a natural form to it.
Here's Tyler Smith trying to feed it down low. He got back to Karam and he puts it up himself. And the whistle and the foul is going to be on Alex Gordon. Gordon picks up his second. Tyler Smith will step to the free throw line. Tennessee leading by 1. Tyler Smith came over and took the spot basically of Dane Bradshaw, who is such a big addition and such a big part of this team over his 4-year career. Great story. Dane's playing in Holland now, and he couldn't see the game, so his girlfriend Julia turned the webcam on the internet, on the TV, into her computer, and he watched the Memphis game the other night on a webcam thanks to his girlfriend.
Nice.
In Holland.
That's some dedication right there now.
Yeah. Tyler Smith got them both.
Brad, think about Tennessee. They go in Saturday night at Memphis. The building is on fire, and they come out of there with a win and use all their energy. Then on Tuesday, they have to come and play their arch rival, and right now they are answering what I think was a very difficult 1-2 fight.
Foster missed the 3 that would have tied it. Prince.
Driver.
And a blocking foul. And that's foul trouble because that's Ogilvie, and that's 4.
J.P. Prince is a drive waiting to happen. As soon as he touches that basketball, he's going to go towards the rim with straight line speed. He doesn't stop well. He's not a good stopper with the basketball. Sometimes hard to draw charges on those kind of guys, especially when you have foul problems.
He has break issues.
He has break issues.
Ogilvie was basically a non-factor for a good portion of the first game between these two teams, and obviously he's not going to be a factor sitting over there with 4 fouls and still 16 minutes to play.
Huge loss. You talk about your #2 scorer. He and Shane Foster combined for 36 a game. Now someone else, Meltner or Metcalf, can they produce enough points around the rim with Ogilvie on the bench?
So J.P. Prince has not scored yet tonight. He was a huge part of the win over Memphis over the weekend with 13 points.
And you know what he did late in that ball game? He locked down Chris Douglas-Roberts, who I think is an All-American first team. J.P. Prince went after him with a purpose.
Vandy trying to cut it to 1 or tie it this trip. Foster trying to run around a pick on the baseline. And now here's the big guy. That flying hook shot. He's missed it 3 times. He's getting closer. Metcalf too strong off the glass.
And that's where Ogilvy normally scores from. And again, Melton and Metcalf are going to have to convert some with a big Aussie on the bench.
Here's Prince. Kick out. Tyler Smith didn't like the 3. He'll try that instead. And an offensive foul on Tyler Smith.
What a day we've had. Number 1 is on the floor this evening, and this morning, you and I, we couldn't have had a better start to our day.
Hey, if you're ever in Nashville, do what I did earlier today. Sneak into the Ryman Auditorium, most famous home of the Grand Ole Opry. Hallowed ground for country music. I'm not supposed to be here. You never know sometimes who you're going to find.
I'm Jimmy Dykes. She was standing on the front porch when I came home last night. A good book in her left hand, a rolling pin in her right.
Folks, Vince Gill, the 4th member of our broadcast team today. Thank you, Vince, for taking us in. Thank you for making Jimmy's life, I don't mean day, life. I mean, had Jimmy died right there at the Ryman Auditorium, and we figure Jimmy's got a good 40 years left. Had he died right there, folks, he would have had a smile so big they would have had to do something in the casket just to tone it down. So, Vince, thank you. Thank all the folks at the Ryman Auditorium, the original home of the Grand Ole Opry. Oh, my goodness, did we have fun today, and did Jimmy have the time of his life?
All I know is I got to sing in the Ryman Auditorium where Elvis Presley, Roy Acuff, Garth Brooks, the best of the best have sung. Good or bad, I got to sing on that stage.
John and the gang over there, he said, you know what, Brad, you're standing right where Elvis did when he came off the stage and he had sang a song and he put a little bit too much rock and roll into it, and somebody said to him, son, do you have another job? He said, yes, sir, I do. I'm a truck driver. He said, you better go back because you're never going to make it in music. A year later, Elvis came back, gave him a set of keys and a brand new truck.
How about that?
Well, Brad, I just want to say that Jimmy made my whole day today. I didn't get to sing with Vince Gill, but he took me to the recording studio of his friend Mark Wright, and Jimmy and I actually got to sit in and listen to Vince Gill recording a song for a new young artist named Randy Hauser. It was awesome. Jimmy, thank you so much. You made my day.
And a big salute to Kevin Stallings, who actually put us in touch with Vince Gill. They're
3 big free throws. Tie game, 43. Third tie of the second half. Number 14 Vanderbilt, number 1 Tennessee, and an electrified crowd at Memorial Gymnasium.
When Vandy goes zone, if they bump, they better bump with urgency or Tennessee will get open looks.
Shane Foster trying to come over the top of Chisholm, and he picks up the foul. And that's 3 on Shane. We got a Sports Center.
And Sports Center after the game. Stay current with ESPN News, guys.
All right, Scott, thanks. Wayne Chisholm, you didn't miss anything here. Missed a free throw, though, that would have given Tennessee the lead. Chisholm, who had a great game the first time these two teams met with 18 points and a career-high 18 rebounds, and because of foul trouble, he has not been a factor at all. Has not scored and has not been the defensive or rebounding presence that we're used to seeing from number 4. Here's Metcalf. 3 on the outside.
There's our answer right there. Maybe they can't score around the rim, but Metcalf can step out and knock down a shot.
His 11th three-pointer of the season, none bigger than that one.
And Brad, the last dead ball, Chris Lofton came back in, so Vanderbilt goes away from their zone because of their respect for Lofton.
Metcalf had the rebound, but he lost it to Juwan Smith. There have not been a lot of turnovers in this game, and now every possession becomes that much bigger with 13:45 to go. Chisholm in close, baseline. Rebound comes off to Keegan Bell. Gordon got Lofton in the air, weaves through traffic, lost the handle, and a foul on Juwan Smith. Smith with the technical, and he walks back down the other end of the court where he'll meet his coach with his hands firmly placed behind his back. There's the explanation. Just a nod from Bruce Pearl.
What did Bruce Pearl say Saturday night, the key for them beating Memphis on the road? Poise. They played with poise. And you know he's having some kind of a conversation like that right now. Unpoised moment so far in this game.
They have. Here we'll take a look after the foul was called. And on the block on the far side, just the jibber jabber of Jawan Smith. Whatever he said didn't go over real big with the officials. So now here comes the free throws from the original foul. Gordon has hit 6 of 7 from the stripe. Second one comes off. It's a 5-point lead, biggest of this half for Vanderbilt.
And Vandy needs every one of those free throws as well as they shoot them. Every one of them. Lofton's still in the game. Vanderbilt's going to stay man-to-man because of it.
Smith foul on the drive. Ramar Smith, that is. McClellan picks up his second foul. We'll see, too. Who knows? Ramar Smith, only 2 points. Got the second one.
Now the press is getting ready to be hot again because you're going to put a guy on the ball out of bounds in Chisholm, and you're going to face guard the other white jerseys. This is a hot press by Tennessee. They're looking for pressure. They're looking for a turnover right now.
Now looking for a trap, and they almost came up with it. They get it ahead to Bell, and he gets it into the front court.
That time Tennessee ran very well out of their trap. They sprinted to defense with a purpose.
Gordon almost had it knocked away.
Remember, Brad, they're not a beat you off the dribble team. They have to set solid screens and get good shots. They're a jump shooting team.
Inside, Neltner had it partially blocked, brought down by Tyler Smith. Jawan Smith got his man in the air, was looking for the long shot. Instead goes inside, and Chisholm had it blocked by Metcalf.
Foster needs to work. He needs to work to get open.
Gordon missed a three, and Chisholm will clear the glass with 12:15 left.
Foster's starting to guard himself, Brad. He's not moving without that basketball.
Great point. Ramar Smith, a thud off the glass. Tyler Smith tried to keep it alive. And it's going to be Tennessee ball. Georgia Tech will take on the number 6 Duke Blue Devils. Both those games coming up tomorrow night. Here we've had a good one. An intense battle between two SEC foes from the same states. One ranked 14th, one ranked number 1. And Alex Gordon, who's been a nice spark plug for Vanderbilt in this half especially, has just picked up his 4th foul. And he knows it, and with frown on face, he's going to head down to the bench after this first free throw, and Jermaine Beal will come in for him.
So now Vanderbilt is going to have to play a stretch of this ball game with their 2nd and 3rd best scorers on the bench with foul trouble in Ogilvie and Gordon. So now a lot of pressure's on Shane Foster to start moving and not guard himself by being.
Jawan Smith, 8 points, now 9 in the ball game.
It's hot again. The pressure is hot again by Tennessee.
And timeout. Or was it a 5-second call?
You got him for a quick 5.
Yeah, I did.
Kevin Stallings 100 feet away from his press offense. Has to trust what he did in practice right now.
Chisholm gives it up down low. Nice pass by the big guy, but it doesn't pay off. Keegan Bell with another ricochet rebound.
Keep an eye on Foster. He's the primary scorer, and he's got to take over this game for Vandy.
Fadeaway jumper goes. Just as Jimmy called it. Foster with 20.
Yeah, he's a senior. He knows number 2 and number 3 scorer on the bench. Look at this guy.
Lofton. Wow. As soon as Foster does it, Lofton says, anything you can do, I can do at least as well.
Chris Lofton just needs to see the orange part of the rim. He doesn't have to have both eyes locked in on it. If he just gets a sight of it, that thing is out of his hands, and it's got a great chance of going in.
20 for Foster, 24 for Lofton, and a long ways yet to go.
Just stay with Foster. Find Foster right now. If you're Tennessee, you better face guard him all over the floor and make him bounce it.
3 on the shot clock. Beal, kick out, extra pass. Bell at the buzzer. Missed the 3. Here comes Lofton. Pull up 3. Rattled it out. And Bell another rebound. Pace slows just momentarily. Bell with a pull-up jump shot. Rebound Tyler Smith. 10.5 to play. 50-49 Vanderbilt. Long 3 again. Tennessee rushed the last 2 shots down court. It's not like they'll quit shooting them, though. Beal will try one and got it. Jermaine Beal. Timeout. 10:16 to go in the ball game. Shane Foster and Chris Lofton, 2 seniors playing their final regular season game against each other. First it's Foster, then it's Lofton, his 24th point. And on the other end, Jermaine Beal bringing it down and giving him to play in Nashville.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, March 22nd through April 8th.
I've got Sarah Fisk, MVP.
Sold out crowd, a whiteout crowd. Super Tuesday presented by KFC. Judgment Week presented by trying to upset the #1 team in the country. Tennessee's never been #1 before yesterday, and now they're holding on by their fingernails and trailing by 4 in this rivalry game that's gone back 173 times. These two teams have gotten together.
And Brad, in a true rivalry game like this one is, if you're Vanderbilt and you can't be #1, you know the sweetest next thing
yes.
is to beat the team that is #1, and it's your rival. That is what we have right now with 10 minutes to go.
Not only that, it would put Vandy at 9-4 in conference play and put them close to the #2 spot and give them 24 wins for the season. They've won 6 straight, second longest streak in the conference. Tennessee's got the longest, 9 wins in a row. Prince inside with a right hand, and he's going to go to the free throw line. He'll step to the line after we take a timeout. Under 10 minutes now remaining, and it's Vanderbilt by 4.
After the game on SportsCenter, what tonight's outcome in Nashville means for Tennessee, why Darren McFadden will not be a top 5 draft pick, and how Yao Ming's injury shakes up the race in the West. SportsCenter.
9:49 remaining. Vanderbilt leading by 4. Chaos in the ball game. Jimmy, in controlling it's part of what Tennessee does.
And they do a very good job of it in their half-court offense, Brad, with a 2-guard alignment up top. And this is their alignment. You see 1 guard and 2 guards. Now that also gives them defensive balance, almost like 2 deep safeties in football, so it's hard to get transition baskets off of them in this alignment as well. Then they always have the shuffle cut. If this game becomes chaotic at times from here on out, Tennessee, with Bruce Pearl now calling the plays, he can go to his 2-guard high set. It's his version of controlling chaos. Gary Williams also uses it at Maryland. Both of those guys, former assistants to Tom Davis. That's where they learned it from. And look for Tennessee, if it gets chaotic, to go to that 2-3 set.
J.P. Prince at the free throw line and rips the first one. You saw his numbers against Memphis the other night, and that was sweet for him because he's a Memphis native. 13 points and 8 rebounds, couple of steals. That's his first point of this night. And he got them both to make it a 2-point game. Here's the backcourt pressure again, and blocking foul on Tennessee. It's going to be on Prince.
Bruce Pearl, again, he coaches his press with his gut feeling. His gut feeling right now is to stay hot in this pressure. Pressure the out-of-bounds guy, face guard the guys that are on the inbounds. He thinks right now that he can turn Vanderbilt over. By staying hot, that's the message that he's sending to Kevin Stallings on the other end.
Jermaine 12 for Beal. 4-point lead, Vandy. 9:45 to go. They switch off on Lofton. Now it's Tyler Smith putting it on the floor. And an offensive foul on Smith.
Jermaine Beal knowing what Smith's instincts are when he catches it about 10 feet from the rim.
Good job by Beal to take that charge, too. And now he's in charge with the ball in hand. A little over 9 minutes left.
He only goes there 2 times a ball game. He takes 9 threes and 5 two-pointers and only 2 free throws. A key to Foster's numbers, keeping him off the free throw strike.
6-point Vanderbilt lead. Whistle and a push on the baseline as Prince tried to take it down and under. Let's check in with Janine.
Well, Brad, I've been observing Coach Bruce Pearl, and it seems like he's having a greater sense of urgency in talking to his players. And in that last huddle, he was telling them to remain poised, saying, we've been here before. But, you know, he told Jimmy and I and you today, we're trying to win a championship for the first time in 41 years here. We have a lot on the line.
Yep.
Andy's going to try and steal that from us. So we have basically not a whole lot to gain and a lot to lose tonight.
They've been there before in that they've been in pressure situations against good teams. They haven't been there before as the #1 team in the country, nor has any Tennessee team. And they knew coming in here, this place is not friendly to #1 teams.
And I think it sent a strong message to my ears when I heard it. I think it sent a strong message to his kids last week. Before the Memphis game, he was already talking about the Vanderbilt game. He wanted his kids to understand the importance of Tuesday night was just as more or greater than Saturday night.
Janine asked him today, is this game bigger than the one Saturday night? He said, absolutely. Because just what she said, trying to win an SEC title. They're 11-1 for the first time in 31 years. You have to go back to Bernard King and Ernie Grunfeld and those guys to have a record this good in the SEC. Those 2 guys and their team went 14-1 before they lost. But as you take a look at the standings, Kentucky sitting there with a poor overall record, but they're getting better and they just keep beating people, and they're #2 in the SEC East. Vanderbilt trying to get within a half game of Kentucky and try to go to 24-4. And of course Tennessee trying to cling to the #1 ranking in the country.
Well, you know what? And if you have the #1 ranking this late in the year, you're probably going to be sitting in the first class section of of my NCAA jet. There's only 65 seats on there right now. Tennessee and UCLA, they look like they're going to be in first class. A good exit row coach seat. Vanderbilt and Notre Dame, that's kind of where will it be positioned. Last row middle. That's not a good seat, but at least you're on the plane. That also says you don't have much room for error. Florida and Davidson, and out there at the ticket agent pleading their case to get on the plane. Teams like Syracuse and Rhode Island. We'll start revisiting that jet a lot from here on out.
That's right.
It's interesting how those seat assignments can change over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
It's even got a couple of jump seats, but we have to develop those in the next week and a half or so.
Tennessee's sitting up there where Brad Nessler flies. First class. Nice.
Beal, nice pitch inside by Melton, who's had some great assists tonight.
Tennessee has struggled coming out of timeouts. Remember the one that they didn't win going into the halftime? And they also just lost 2 points on that timeout. In close games, 6, 7, 8 points are decided coming out of timeouts. Vanderbilt has the advantage in this game right now.
They've got the lead by 6. Prince trying to get it down low. And the possession arrow on the held ball is going which way? To unpile the bodies. The possession arrow's on the same side of the court as we are, folks. That's why I can't just look across, because if I look across, all I see is a student body that came in here about 4 hours ago. Or tried to. We saw about 20 kids trying to sneak in here at 11 o'clock this morning. They did have their computers, so I assume part of them, some of them, did their classwork. Doubtful, but probably. Maybe.
Well, you can afford to skip class when the #1 team in the country comes here, Jim.
I'd say so.
It ain't happening very often.
Lofton fadeaway 3. And the rebound still up in the air. Meanwhile, we're still not sure. Well, we're going to sort it out after the timeout. We'll let you know as soon as we know. 7:59 to play. Vandy by 6. Vanderbilt by 6. Just under 8 minutes remaining in the ball game on our Super Tuesday. Part of Judgment Week presented by Jockey. And as they were jockeying for a shot, Chris Lofton, that shot is going to hit the side of the rim. At that point, shot clock was to be reset, and then it goes out of bounds off Tennessee, so it's Vanderbilt ball. And now full court pressure from Tennessee again.
And the pressure is going to stay hot. Again, Bruce Pearl feels like he can get turnovers. But so far, Vanderbilt, they've handled it well up to this point.
Nice hustle.
Do not make high school hairy passes against. They will rip and run to the other end in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they're too fast.
Too fast.
Bell will inbound on the baseline. Bell and Beal, Metcalf, Neltner, and Shane Foster trying to run through some traffic to get open. He did on the baseline, but the pass wasn't quite there. Fade away by Foster. Tyler Smith will clear it. Tennessee trying to cut into a 6-point lead. 7.5 minutes to go. Their #1 ranking on the line. Smith tried to go baseline and threw it away. Almost. Lofton hasn't scored in quite some time. He was on fire late in the first half, early in the second half. Tough bounce pass down low. And a whistle and a foul will send Tyler Smith to the free throw line.
And Kevin Stallings getting real close for Ogilvy to maybe check back into this ball game. Just 7:07 to go. The big Aussie has been setting for a long time. And in the coach's mind, Brad, you can get as close as you can to that 6-minute mark, and you just say, turn it loose and go back. And I think Vanderbilt's about a minute away from the big Aussie coming back in.
His 10th point here. Didn't get either. 2 big misses by Tyler Smith.
And invert Foster running down to the block. Can he score over a shorter Chris Lofton?
There it is. Foster's got 24. Lofton's got 24, but the lead is 8, the biggest of the half for Vanderbilt.
And Shane Foster's, Brad, tonight, he's done enough off of the bounce. He's also posted up. He's done more than just be a 3-point shooter. That's why Vanderbilt has that lead right now.
Virtually every time Foster has scored, Lofton has answered. Let's see if that happens this trip. Tyler Smith on a runner. Rebound comes off to Foster. Vandy 6:15 away from another upset of a #1 team on their home floor.
And you're a made shot away from this building exploding. The #1 team is on the ropes.
Here comes the shot. Rebound is Lofton. And he gets tangled up in traffic, and I think they're going to call a foul on Jermaine Beal. Those two got their legs tangled up a little bit. Don't forget.
And if you're looking for a sleeper Final Four can make a run, focus in on Louisville right now. I love that team defensively. I love what Padgett can do. You look at the past 9 national champions and how many points they get from their front line. You have to have that front line strength, and Louisville has it.
Gordon's going to check back in with 4 to lead both teams. Foster just one behind him. Missed the second one. Tipped up and in.
They get 17 offensive rebounds a game. Tennessee, they fight each other. They climb on the glass. For 40 minutes, you have to box them off.
So that makes it a 5-point game with a rather odd 3-point trip. A missed free throw by Lofton, but a tip in by Prince. Beal, triple. Somebody got a hand on it, but he got it back. Foster sets up 3, got it!
They've been #1 for 28 hours, going on 29, and right now they're on the ropes. Do they have the purpose and the passion and the poise that they showed at Memphis to come back in this building? It's not going to be easy.
McClellan got his own missed three. Beal, a triple. A couple of missed shots and a couple of hurried shots, but Kevin Stallings up there applauding his team with an 8-point lead. 4:40 to go.
And here's their controlled chaos set. They start off with 2 guards up top, controlling the chaos a little bit, trying to get Lofton free off of some ball screen action.
Fade away, way out, short. And out of bounds, last touch by Tennessee.
About this, Tennessee has taken off their press in this building. So Bruce Pearl, again, coaching with his gut, does not like what his press has shown him over the last couple of minutes.
Little one-man pressure by Jawan Smith is about all they offer. And Jermaine Beal, best assist-to-turnover ratio in the business, has no trouble getting it into the front court. Gordon gives it up. Neltner, baseline. Rebound, Tyler Smith. 4 minutes to play in Nashville. 4 minutes from an upset of the new top-ranked team in the country. Nice baseline drive by Romar Smith. And now a little bit out of control, Vanderbilt. They'll keep the ball, though, with 3:45 to go. They lead by 6. Can they hang on and pick off the top-ranked Vols from Knoxville? We'll find out when we come back. FedEx Forum in Memphis. 2 fired-up teams battling for supremacy in the state of Tennessee, and Memphis came out firing threes. But Tennessee hung in there, and led by Prince and Tyler Smith, they come back and they pick off the Memphis Tigers and stop their 47-game winning streak to take over the #1 team, the #1 spot in the country for the first time in the history of Tennessee basketball in 99 seasons. And now, about 29 hours later, it's hanging by a thread because the Commodores of Vanderbilt, who've done it before and have beaten the last 3 #1 teams they faced here at Memorial Gymnasium, 3:45 away from doing it again.
And Tennessee all season long, they've had that it factor, and I said at the top of the broadcast, Brad, they better bring the I and the T into this building. They need it both right now with 3:30 to go because they're on the ropes against a Vanderbilt team that can make shots in this building.
Foster had a hand on the ball, and he's fouled. This might be the pinnacle of that career at Vanderbilt. If they can hold on, they've got an 8-point lead.
And Lofton is out of the game. So Vanderbilt goes zone, and Chris Lofton gets up to come check in.
Tyler Smith, tough shot by Smith, who's got 11 to go with a career high in rebounding. And again, full court heat now. Almost a steal, but it's going to be a foul on Jawan Smith. And Smith's got 4 fouls. You could read Bruce Pearl's lips, I'm sure. He said, what did he do?
A tight whistle game, and I'm not saying this has been a tight whistle game, but a tight whistle game does not favor Tennessee because they're very aggressive. They have a lot of contact in their defense.
I think it was a grab jersey again, as you saw the replay from the baseline.
Tennessee trying to hang on to #1 in the nation, trying to hang on to #1 seed on Selection Sunday. Vanderbilt trying to play their way up to a possible #3 seed. That's what we got going, partner, under 3 to go.
Vandy trying to move to within a half game of the #2 spot in the SEC. Nice drive by Chisholm. Believe it or not, that is his first 2 points of the ball game. Neltner, blocked. Wow, what a block. Lofton coming back the other way. Tyler Smith comes up limping, but he got a huge block. Now Jawan Smith, 3. Ball was blocked in reach. And Vandy's got it back, and we're down at 2:20.
Vanderbilt doesn't
rip the second, though. And it makes the lead 7. Tennessee trying to preserve all the precious seconds they can on the inbound play.
Foster now defensively on Chris Lofton.
Ooh, down hard, Lamar Smith. You could hear that thud way over here. Foul on Neltner. J.P. Prince is going to come back in. And to the free throw line will go Ramar Smith, who's not one of Tennessee's better free throw shooters, at least not one of the best.
Brad, he's number 5 on the team in minutes played, Ramar Smith. He's number 1 in free throw attempts, so his game is about attacking the rim. Tennessee right now, they have gone to an attack the rim mentality. They are trying to do everything off of the bounce and at least get themselves to the free throw stripe. Can they make enough, though, to make it pay off? That's the question they didn't answer right there.
They gave away 2 right there. With 2 minutes to play, Vanderbilt leads number 1 Tennessee by 7.
Vanderbilt doesn't have enough points yet, but they might be one big jump shot away from having enough points. Be patient if you're Vanderbilt right now and make Tennessee guard 5 or 6 passes.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Gordon, baseline, try to go in the tall timbers up there, and not probably a good idea. Here comes Lofton. Can he get a shot away?
Thinks he's a driver. He's a driver.
And a foul as he was driving on Gordon, and that's it for Alex Gordon. He'll foul out with 11 points. And that takes away part of the backcourt of Vanderbilt with 1:28 to go. Alex Gordon, a senior, getting his last regular season shot at Tennessee. And Kevin, it is 5 fouls on Alex Gordon.
If I'm Indiana,
Vandy, last year the Sweet 16, same as Tennessee on the other end. Both lost close games to very good teams. Prince, well, he's hit 5 straight free throws. So he didn't have anything at halftime and nothing early in the second half, but now 7 points for J.P. Prince.
With another make, the hot pressure of Tennessee is going to come. Here it is. Can Vanderbilt handle it another time?
2-possession game. They're having trouble. Timeout. The press forces them to take a break with 1:28. And remember, they were way down on the other end. So the timeout, a 5-point lead. Shane Foster.
Just 2 dribbles, but it was enough to shake loose Shane Foster to the tune of 29 points.
Lofton with 25. Look at the 3-pointers. Each with 6. For Foster, that gives him 107 on the year, and it gives Chris Lofton 95. The 2 best 3-point shooters in the Southeastern Conference, and it comes down to the final 1:28. Vanderbilt by 5. Well, Judgment Week time. There's a reset. You see the timeout situation. I don't know if Tennessee was hoping that Judgment Week was going to be so judgmental so quickly.
Vandy's going to be judged on their ability to inbounds the ball against this pressure.
They come back into the backcourt and finally get it to Bell, and he crosses the timeline just in time.
Probably the last possession that Tennessee can just play out and not foul. Tennessee needs a stop and a cleanup of the miss. A made shot may finish this game off.
Neltner. The rebound comes off to Ramar Smith. Tennessee pushing it up court. Where's Chris Lofton? You know they're thinking that, but so is Vanderbilt. And so the 4th shot by Ramar Smith, I'm not sure that was a good choice. Vandy gets it back. With 54 seconds remaining, Bruce Pearl's timeout leaves him with 1 remaining. And we'll give you one more reminder that Judgment Week presented.
Trying to fight their way back onto the winning train right now. And that Big 12, where you and I were very impressed with Texas over the weekend, by the way. They're looking like possibly a #1 seed as well. They and Tennessee look a lot alike to me.
Yeah, they do. They do a lot, and not just the color of the jerseys. One's burnt orange and one's bright orange. But Texas won again last night on Big Monday. And so they get ever so closer to maybe being the #1 seed there. You got to think right now UCLA would be one, be it Duke or North Carolina. And then you look at Tennessee and Memphis. So those are probably the top 8 picks. But there's still a lot of juggling to go on before it's all done.
And the juggling left in this ball game. Can Vanderbilt inbounds the basketball, take it up the floor, and then if Tennessee fouls, make free throws. Kevin Stallings right now is thinking, I know I'm just 2 points more away from maybe locking down the #1 team.
And you know who he wants at the free throw line if it gets to that point, either Foster or Beal. Bell having trouble in the backcourt again. Got it ahead and gets it back from Neltner.
Tennessee's trying to foul. They just can't get up to him.
Trying to get Bell, and they can't, and they push and still don't get it. Time is of the essence. 35 seconds to play. Foster's not the guy they want to foul.
You know, and Bruce Pearl saying not foul. He had his hands down, says you can't communicate with your team at the other end in this building. Tennessee fouls, and Shane Foster now 1 of 2.
1 of 2.
The door is still open.
2-possession game, but Tennessee's got to hurry. And that's a drive and 1. So a 3-point play is a possibility for Ramar Smith.
That all Tennessee has done the last 2.5 minutes, the first guy that gets it drive the ball to the rim. And Vanderbilt has not made the adjustment defensively. Only Lofton is hanging around the 3-point line in case you can kick it back out. Look at this. Everybody else, as soon as they get it, attack the rim. So they're extending the game right now, but can they make free throws? You have to make free throws to extend the game.
Oh, and a big one there by Ramar Smith, who had missed 3 of the 4 he had taken before that. 3-point game, 22 seconds left. Beal gets it ahead. Bell, now Foster. They try to grab his jersey. They don't call a foul there. And now, finally, Tyler Smith will foul out, fouling Shane Foster.
Very good job by Shane Foster to go get the basketball. He didn't run away from it. He ran to it and made himself the most valuable guy on the floor as a senior. Chance to close out a basketball game from the free throw strike. That's all you could ask for right now if you're Shane Foster, a 78% free throw shooter in conference play.
Again, a senior out of Kenner, Louisiana, who will be the #1 scorer the next time they take the floor, more than likely, in Vanderbilt history. And you know he is licking his chops to try to hit these free throws, as Jimmy said, and close out another upset of a #1 team at Memorial Gymnasium, where he is brilliant, it seems like, every timeout. Vanderbilt has never won 17 games at home in a row. 17-0. They've won 30 of their last 31 in this fabled building that has given so many teams that come in here so much trouble. And now Shane Foster can step up, and if he hits both of these, it'll be the second best game of his career, and it could probably put the final nail on the coffin of the arch rivals from Knoxville. And now we'll just watch along with you. One more might do it. It's already a 2-possession game for Tennessee, and only 14 seconds remain.
It's like Duke playing North Carolina, and one of them being #1. And if you're not #1, the sweetest next thing is to knock off #1. And Vanderbilt 14 ticks away from doing it.
5-point game. Tennessee's got to hurry. Ramar Smith takes it in, leaves it for Chisholm, who hammers it home.
Great job by Tennessee to drive that basketball, knowing that Vanderbilt has not done a good job of cutting off the drives. Vanderbilt's not going to foul, so you get an easy 2. And the pressure now back on Vanderbilt, Brad, to get the ball in bounds against the hot Tennessee press. Watch again, drive that ball. Vanderbilt does a pretty good job of closing off the first drive, but again, the second guy that gets it just goes right to the rim. Great job by Tennessee to stay in this ball game. They didn't come down and fire a contested 3. They drove it at the rim, and now the game is still on the line.
Don't forget, SportsCenter follows us. If they've got a lot of things on SportsCenter as good as this basketball game has been, you'll want to stay tuned for that as well. One of the hottest tickets in the history of Vanderbilt basketball tonight. And while it snows outside, it couldn't have been hotter indoors.
Tennessee's coming with their best pressing team. Josh Tabb, long arm, 6'4" sophomore defender, just checked in. They're probably going to face guard all spots on the floor and pressure the out-of-bounds guy. Vanderbilt has a timeout left. You got to make sure if you're Vanderbilt, your kids understand that, because they're going to be all the way at the other end now, 100 feet away from you. Did you cover? Making sure you know you have a timeout if you can't get it in. And your best press alignment now has to come into play. The last time they went to Ogilvy, because he's a big target, and at least you can throw it up to him and let his 7 feet take over.
Foster will be the trigger man. And he's got Prince on him. They go with the pass on the baseline, and now they get it into Foster. Foster ahead to Bell. They might have thrown it away. Bell tracked it down somehow in the corner with 1.8 left. And now you're sending to the free throw line a freshman who has attempted 6 free throws the entire season.
And it's a good thing the basketball court for Vanderbilt is 94 feet, not 95. Look at that right there. That's how close
Take it all in with the powerful Sorrento. Kia Motors, official automotive partner of the NBA.
NBA Coast to Coast, brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And Frontlines, Fuel of War. The war of the future begins today. Available now.
A reminder, ESPN, your place to be Friday night as the Jazz face the Hornets. We begin with shoot-around at 7:30. Then the game follows at 8 o'clock. At 10:30, it's the second half of the doubleheader, the Clippers and the Nuggets. That's Friday, final day of February, and it's the 29th, which is a leap year. Time now for who's hot and who's not. J.R. Smith averaging better than 25 points his last 3 games. Michael Redd putting up 31 in the Bucks' last 3 home games. Wins against the Pistons, Nuggets, and Cavs. Plus, you got the game winner tonight on a long 3.
Ooh, that's hot.
Who's not? Well, the Suns had 6 guys in double figures Tuesday. Raja Bell was not one of them as his shooting slump continues. And Josh Howard's shooting hasn't been helped by the arrival of Jason Kidd in Dallas. Jay Kidd is not giving him anything right there. Luke Rittenauer, 12 assists. Those are in the first half of that game. So he's off to a great start as we take a look at the top performers right now for our poll question results. Let's join Chris Broussard.
All right, here we go. Our first question. Will Ben Wallace regain his all-star form in Cleveland? A lot of love, I think, for Ben. 47% said yes. 53%, the majority, said no, but still, a lot of people think Ben will get it done for the Cavs. Second one, are the Rockets a playoff team without Yao Ming? The red and blue states were in total agreement on this one. Every one of them said no. 85% of our nearly 67,000 respondents, the Rockets won't make the playoffs.
SportsCenter. Nothing easy for the nation's new #1, Tennessee, getting more than a sound test from the Commodores. That 9-team race in the NBA's West, possibly down to 8.